out here cleaning out the greenhouse. We had cucumbers growing in this house mostly, and we ran across this plant here, and we thought it was such a beautiful specimen that we'd show it to you. This is a curly dock, and this is actually a free, yummy wild edible. You can eat it as a green. The normal way is to cook it, and it's a good one to know because it comes up really early in the spring, and it often stays quite late in the fall. You know, today's December 1st, and this plant's still alive. Even some out in the woods are still alive. This one's in the greenhouse. So it's good to know because it's early and late. Now, you can tell looking at this one that it's got lots of nice young leaves. In the middle of the summer, they often get not so nice. You know, these are older. The usual way to do these is you break off the more tender ones like that. And you can either leave them whole or chop them up, put them in water, and boil them for a few minutes. Pour that water off, and then boil them again in another batch of water. Then season them up however you like, salt, pepper, onion, bacon grease if you like. The reason you do that is that they have, I believe it's oxalic acid in them that can build up in your system, and the boiling in water first and pouring it off helps rid them of a lot of that. So I'm going to try a little taste of it here. This one's actually really good. Often they have a lot of sourness to them, which is good too, but this one has very little of that. This being in this house though is a little bit of a problem because these are kind of bad weeds. These have a huge root system on them. I've dug some up before that were in a dirt pile, and they had a 4-foot long root, sometimes this big around and that big down in the ground. And this one probably has at least 2 or 3 feet root, too long to pull out, and if you till over the top of it, it's still going to sprout up again. And many times when you do till it up, it chops it up, and each little piece becomes its own plant then, and you just spread it instead of killing it. So they're pretty tough to get rid of. One strategy that you can get rid of these without any chemicals or anything is to take a tub of some plastic tub, trim this back so they can't get out, and set the tub over the top of this plant so that it can't get sunlight. And it's going to have to stay there a while because it has a lot of root to keep pulling energy from, but eventually it will die. So I'm going to pick a bunch of this for supper. We'll cook it up. I'm focusing on the nice and tender center ones, trying not to get the tougher and more discolored outer ones. I'll just leave them. Like any green, dock shrinks up when you cook it, but it doesn't decrease as much as, say, spinach or Swiss chard or even kale does. It holds up a little bit better than those. Well, I got this stuff in the house and washed up. I'm going to chop it up real quick, and then I'm going to put it in the pan of water. I usually try to chop the thicker, woodier stems a little finer than the rest of it. Go ahead and put it in the water, and go ahead and turn the burner on so that it can start heating up. Like I said, it is going to shrink down quite a bit, so a very full pan now won't equal a very full pan later. Once it starts cooking down though, it'll be okay. So we'll bring this to a boil and then we'll wait 3 or 4 minutes, let it boil, maybe 5, and then we'll drain this water off and add new hot water onto it. Well, I think this is boiled about long enough for the first water. I will go ahead and drain it here and then we'll get some more water on it. So we've got some hot water here. I'm going to pour a bit of it on. This will speed up the process a little bit to already have it hot. Not going to put too much. And go ahead and get my burner on, cook it a little bit more. It's just about cooked down. And then I'm going to add some salt to it. This batch I'm going to do fairly simply. You can add other flavorings like garlic or onions. We'll sometimes use chopped dried onions. Those work really easily. You can add meat of various kinds to this. It's pretty flexible. Well, it's just cooked for a couple more minutes, but it looks cooked down to me. Go ahead and put a little bit over here in the bowl so you can see what it looks like. It looks much like cooked spinach. And like I said earlier, it doesn't cook down as much as spinach does. So if you had a handful like that, probably with spinach, you'd end up with that. Maybe not that bad. But. My dad tells me when he was younger that if they had greens, this was pretty much what they had for greens, and that my grandma used to can this, and this was what they would have for greens in the wintertime. I'll go ahead and give this a taste here. That's good. I said a lot of times it'll have a lot of sour to it, and this still doesn't after it's cooked. It's good. This is a good plant of it and a good time of year. Thank you for watching my little video on picking and cooking dock. I hope that you can find this resource around your area and put it to use. It's a very productive plant and I think you'll enjoy it. This is the Neil's Homestead. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like below. If you haven't, subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. Thank you.